Like, there's a lot of little things that I could point out through this VOD, and I'll do so. But like, I always try and have a guideline of 2 to 3 points that at the end of the day you can go, this is what I need to work on, period. So when you get into comp games, you're not concerned about tiny little minor mistakes the entire game, because those are going to happen regardless, but you're more focused on concepts that you need to be drilling in your comp or in your scrims. And two things I saw with your Winston play. One was you're bubbling way too early. A lot of the times when the enemy team, when you're diving somebody that doesn't really have any cooldowns that can really like destroy you, you're bubbling way too early before you take any damage whatsoever. And that time, that bubble could have been saved another second or two later, if that makes any sense. And we'll see a lot of examples of that. And the second one, your dives are in the incorrect spots. You're diving the wrong people in the wrong positions at the wrong time, if that makes any sense. So we'll kind of talk into that. If you have any questions, just let me know, all right?
Yep.
Okay, go right
there. But I was excited to hear one amongst many casting the Reinhardt Kingsword game. That was pretty cool. He's a cool dude.
I actually have the VOD as well. I've linked it to you.
Yeah, I saw that. I might have time to do that later next week.
Okay.
So like, this is a good case. This is a good example. Now the D.Va does follow with him, and the Tracer does. But look where your bubble lands. Our Zen can't really capitalize on that bubble because it's too far away from him, and you weren't really taking any damage. Now you took some residual damage as the D.Va dove in, but like, we didn't really find a lot of value with that bubble. Okay. Trade Zen for Winston is not good for your team, so I mean, you might as well engage. This is a good dive. That is a good bubble. You got booped out, which is unfortunate. This is not a good decision. Just stay with your Lucio, because when you jump out, you're removing yourself from the fight. And I know you're like 300 health, but you still have 300 health. You're okay.
Yes.
And the problem with this is like, you would be healed up by the Lucio at least a little bit, and you're removing yourself from the fight for a long period of time. So now everything that's been happening over like the last 6 seconds, we've not been involved in. We jumped to try and get away from the Tracer, but it's too late.
Yeah.
Rip. Alrighty. So their dives were just much better than your team's.
I can't help it.
Yeah, we realized that they had their DPS both for master plays. They've got an average of 3.2.
Yeah, I can play that if you want.
That's what we had in the next game discussed as well.
This bubble's cool.
I'm on Winston. Winston's really low.
Kind of lose the Genji for a second. It's okay.
Genji's really low. Genji down.
So like, that bubble's cool. I don't know why we jumped there.
Yeah, I wanted to catch the D.Va.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait till she launches. Like, don't try and guess it. All right. So that was nice. Your bubbles were good there.
And here comes probably a pretty stupid decision, but I didn't want to get picked.
Right.
That's why I used the Mega. But I probably could have waited, right?
Yeah, I would have waited. Like, here's the thing though. Like, I know you're running a Zen Lucio, so it's not going to be like an instant heal up. But like, you were at 300 something health. You're not going to get picked, really. The team. You're going to be healed up before the team gets to you. Basically, you can pretty much say that. So. I in this situation, whenever you know like the Genji's up there and you have a low ground to drop down to, especially if you have ult, like I would jump up there and just harass them. Like if the Genji's there and the Winston's there, you can pretty much guarantee your support's gonna be right there too. And at the very least, you can be just an obnoxious butt. And right now, like what is our jump? Like why do we fall down there? Like what value? Maybe we're going for an element of surprise, but it's kind of, so. Like, we know the Ana's somewhere. She's up there. I don't know where she is. Oh, there she is. Yeah. Okay, so this is a mistake. Like, I know you're just never, ever ult unless you're at, like, 100 HP. Like, there's just no reason to. Like, you are doing more damage, you're more in control of like your range is better, and not to mention if you add on your ult HP right now, you have 1500 health, right? If you just pop ult, you just have 1000 health or whatever. So this was like you could have killed this Ana without ulting, and in fact you probably would have killed her faster, and you would have still had ult, because look what happens.
Lucy's one on point.
Yeah, I'm boofing the diva away, and she gets away at the end.
Well, that's not really the big problem. That's not what I'm talking about exactly. What I'm talking about is that you guys won the fight easily. Your ult did nothing, and now you don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna need it next fight? That's a possibility. You know, so it's unlucky. Like, just avoid ulting as Winston unless A, you're almost about to die, or B, you need to knock somebody off the map, and even then, that's pretty hard to do. Like, ult for Winston is literally like just to keep him alive 99.9% of the time. I would be looking for high ground here.
They're going white, they're going white.
Tell me when you jump in.
That was a really good stick from their Tracer. Okay, so another thing here, like, it might be because you thought. Oh, hang on, I won't say anything yet. Hang on. Yeah, you had the reaction to bubble. Well, you bubbled because you for a split second saw it and you probably thought it was on the ground, and so you wanted to save your Tracer, but you didn't realize she was stuck. So I understand your mental process there. That wasn't really a mistake. It was just an unfortunate misplay. It wasn't really your fault though. Like
There's going to be a similar stick just later where I bubbled exactly the same way, and I'm actually not sure if the Tracer would have died if I didn't bubble.
Yep. So we just seem to have a little bit of a target confusion. If you go in blind, like, try and lock onto one person as best as you can. Don't use your jump to continue that person if they like super hard disengage. Like, don't chase them. But there was a lot of here, then here, like that last fight. Like, we didn't really know who to go for, and so we weren't really contributing anything. That's very unlucky.
Don't go in.
Yep, don't go in. No need to go in.
And it was only at that moment that I realized it.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, the Tracer is kind of overextended, so you could have possibly punished her, so. But.
Okay, go now.
Okay, so this is an example of a preemptive bubble when we don't really need to. Like, we jump in and we anticipate something bad to happen, but we're on the other side of the pole, and our bubble just doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, if you you have to understand with Winston bubble, Winston is always 1 second away from killing somebody, whether it's a support or a Genji or whatever. Like, because of the nature of his weapon and it's low damage, you know, and the nature of his bubble, if you buy yourself one more second with a little bit more efficient bubble placement, you'll be able to secure many more picks. I actually really don't like this. Your Lucio just ulted. You need to be finding value with this ult, and counter peeling onto your own Winston, to their Winston, is not a good idea. We need to be finding the squishies and finishing them off right now. Like, I love peeling. I love that. I love this tanks like come and help their team out. But look at what we did there. Like, we were gonna kill the Winston, and then we realized that it's a mistake, and so we jump back. It's like we wasted so much time, and that happens a lot in these VODs. Like, you seem like you understand tanking basically, but you just don't know how to do it with Winston. And that's gonna be point. No, that's it. I mean, I got nothing to coach here. It's just trying to stall it up. All right. So, I assume you guys, yeah, you did win this one. Okay, so you won this one and you won the next one.
We won it. We won both both of them that followed. But essentially the only ones that we really lost.
Yep.
Like, there's one which really wasn't worth coaching like at all, and the other one was a complete stomp by a GM team. Exactly the Kings Row one, actually.
Gotcha. I might check that out.
That one, yeah. That one is actually, I feel like it's interesting because we played like a mess as well. Like I saw a bunch of big mistakes as well.
Okay. I'll see if I can check it out later. So this is an interesting comp. This is like obviously a dive of sorts, but with a Pharah. So the reason this is interesting because you have nothing to peel for. Nothing at all. There's no reason for you to ever to be jumping backwards. One thing that's worth noting, though, is because you guys don't have a tracer, it's probable that with this Pharah, that they're in Mercy, they're probably going to end up going hit scan, which is really good for you because Winston does really well with hit scan. Winston really punishes hit scan pretty well. Obviously, except like the Soldier, he does well with Soldier, he does well with Reaper. He even does okay with McCree. He doesn't do well with McCree one-on-one per se, but anything that can be dove is good for dive, if that makes sense. So this is going to be an interesting comp. I'm curious to see what the team's going to be playing to respond to this. The only problem with this is healing is going to be a little bit more scanty if your Mercy goes hardcore pharmacy.
Yeah, but we practiced with Zen as well, so we kind of got used to the little heals.
Yep. All right. So this is where you need to find value as Winston. Okay. Now I understand that you need to play with your team, but as a Winston player, this is what you want to dive.
I should have jumped there. Yeah.
Yeah, and the only problem with this is that may not be on your team's, like that might not be what your team wants to do. If your team makes another call, then what you do here is fine.
Winston diving me.
This is not fine. This is horrible. Just ignore tracers. There's nothing you can do unless they come close and are like messing with your Lucio. Then hold left click. There's nothing you can do against a tracer. And certainly do not burn jump on tracer. This is a waste. Yeah. Like you should be thinking here, like to maximize your Winston efficiency. You need to be thinking, how many seconds did I waste on that tracer? How many cooldowns did I waste on the tracer? That's a good bubble. Because that's crucial. We also get gun shy here. And we end up taking a lot of damage to the face. So I like your bubble here. But a 1v1 with D.Va is not where we're going to do best. And instead we kind of dance around, realize we don't want to be here. Yeah, it's just messy. It's hard to say exactly what went wrong there, but the very first mistake was diving the tracer. Very first mistake.
Winnable. Get up one.
I don't think this is winnable. I'd be surprised.
It's still winnable for you were there.
I was confused at that moment, but
yeah. Yeah, that happens a lot with Winston. That happens a lot with tanks in general. You know the feeling of like, I'm not sure what the best move is to do here. That bubble's cool, whatever. Okay, so let's look at their comp really quick. Okay, so they don't really have anything to deal with the pharmacy. Ana is okay. Ana, D.Va are alright, but it's probable that this dude is gonna swap because he's gonna have a hard time killing anybody. But we'll see. So they are running full dive.
Go through top.
At this point, you want to locate like where their supports are. That
yeah.
There you go. They have an Ana, which is going to be obviously what you want to dive.
How about?
This is one. And on nade.
So this is not so much your problem, but your team seems super disjointed, and I've not heard really good shot calling this entire game, or the game before. So suggestions for your team: get one person to be the shot caller, and one person only. And obviously, if you make calls as you see them if need be, but one person's the shot caller, one person makes the calls, and go from there because this a lot of time is being wasted right here. And your decision to go left is a fine decision. That's a good decision, but your team isn't following through with it because you guys don't have a shot caller. That bubble's okay if you're diving the Ana. You can preemptively bubble the Ana because good Anas will sleep you.
Sleep, yeah.
Yep. But that's about all you really need to preemptively. Okay, I mean, you guys lost the fight, but it was a good dive. You did your job for the most part. Okay, that's a big pick. You need to go forward aggressively. Locate that Ana. Locate the Ana. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, great dive. This is exactly where you need to be diving. Why did you bubble? Like, here's the thing. Here's the thing with Winston bubble. It just doesn't block a whole lot of damage. And it's very, very, very hard to use to actually block actively. Like, you could sit here and you could analyze it for hours and go, well, maybe I blocked the sleep dart on the Genji blade. But do you think that you can accurately place a bubble to do that consistently? Like, do you think that's something that you could consistently do with Winston bubble? Is I'm gonna block all the sleep darts from my Genji with my bubble? Like, it just is that's gonna be ridiculously hard to do. It would be ineffective. It'd be inefficient. Like, you need to be thinking about your bubble as, hey guys, here's a little bit of safe haven. It's gonna last about 6 seconds. It'll keep me alive. It'll keep you guys alive. Use it as need be. And we're gonna watch your bubble's HP.
We did not need that long.
That bubble had 250 HP when it dropped, right? So you just didn't find value out of it. Like, you should be thinking my bubbles should be burst just about every single time because they're placed in a spot where a lot of damage is occurring. Now, that kind of fight was kind of already won as it started, but the fact that you preemptively bubbled before anything even happened was not good. Think of it like Zarya shield. Like, you don't... Sometimes you'll preemptively Zarya bubble because you know something big or bad is going to happen. But usually you want to be taking damage first so you know that there's something worth bubbling. Same thing with Winston.
Top.
That's really good for you guys. You should be diving that. Because here's the thing, it's like it's just the Winston, right?
Yeah.
So there's no real direct threat. There's not really pushing completely here. If you use jump here, okay, so because you know something has happened in there, right? You've got bubble to protect you. You've got a 6-second cooldown on your jump. You'd have jump again right now. You wouldn't be losing out in anything.
Yeah. And I think that was probably a bad decision, jumping on the point.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Your Lucio's fine. Lucio's okay.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of little bodies right here. Especially the Divas exiting, the Winstons exiting. That's your cue to enter.
Yeah.
You'll find more value. Because all right now, if you do this kind of stuff, you'll just be an ult battery for Tracer. This is a bad ult because you had 250 health left still.
2 dead. 2 tanks on top.
Very good management of your ult though. You just didn't need it.
Winston left side.
You could have killed him without it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're backing off now.
Okay. Hold on high ground. Trace on top.
If you want to dive Tracer as a team, that's cool. But just don't do it by yourself because you'll waste a heck of a lot of time. Again, it's okay. Again, you need to ask yourself, who should we be looking for in most situations right now as a Winston? You should probably be looking for the Ana, right?
Right now, yeah.
So what we're doing right now is fine, but I'd just like to point out that so far this game, I don't think the Ana has really died. She died once, I think, to the rocket barrage, and that's it. She's not died. And as an Ana main, that makes me very happy. As a Winston main, that makes me very sad. What we did very good, though, we did very well there, is we did dive the correct targets here. So we see they're committing hard, right? Yes, the Ana is still by herself. You know, nobody's bothering Ana. We go for the Genji. That's fine. Jump is not great. But we stay on... The bubble is cool. The bubble is broken already. We kill the Genji. We go after the Lucio. This is what we should be doing. This is fine. I mean, it wasn't pretty, but we did our job. And you guys are going to hold this. And that's game. Oh, hang on. Whoopsies. They're gonna make a contest. Okay. Yep. Just hold left click on Lucio or Genji. Either one. Bubbles, whatever. There's a lot of crap going on, so it's not like you're wasting it. Alrighty. And that's it. Okay, this isn't a very important call for you. Listen carefully.
You got soldier.
You can make Soldier's life miserable, especially if you're still running pharmacy. Are you still running pharmacy in this match? I don't.
Yeah, we're running pharmacy because she's a comfort pick.
Yep. And
Since Stalahin was a sub, he wasn't the main.
okay, well, with a pharmacy and a Winston making the hit scans life miserable,
Soldier
you're gonna do very well.
They're setting up on the high ground right side. Winston coming here.
That was a good bubble.
Winston. Get back him, get back.
That was an excellent
Yeah.
bubble. That saved your life.
Tracer half.
Don't chase Tracer, just heal up.
Where's on Mega?
Winston dead.
Is half. Is it winnable?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I should have jumped.
yeah. Not only the Ana, but the soldier too.
Soldier was
Like,
next.
can you imagine how much disruption and carnage you would cause if you had just jumped right there and bubbled?
I think the thing that I was thinking at that moment was shit. They are together, and I didn't want Ana to pocket the soldier and destroy me.
Right, but here's the thing. Yes, you might not secure a kill, but you're gonna deny
Well,
them. We're gonna deny them a lot of ult charge, especially the soldier, and you're gonna completely turn them off from the rest of the point. Like they're not. The Ana's not gonna be healing. The soldier's not gonna be DPSing, and an Ana and a 600 and a soldier is not gonna be breaking your shield very fast. So you would be safe enough to get your jump back.
But I think it's lost, yeah. Just suicide.
Yeah, it's lost.
Tonight.
Like, remember your job as Winston? I learned this from another great Overwatch coach named Jane. Okay, like really fundamentally, if you're here, right, and your team is behind you, right, okay, and the enemy tanks are here and their team is behind them, fundamentally your job as Winston is to dive far backline, not in between, not on the tanks, like behind them, so much so that the tanks have to turn around and deal with you, the rest of the team, which gives your team a chance to move forward, and hopefully by that time you have got jump back and you can jump back, and you see how that has created space for your team to push forward. When you dive on in soldier, you're cutting off the life flow to the rest of the people on the point, and you're reducing the amount of, because like think of it, tanking with Winston as not so much that you're blocking damage, but you're preventing damage from being done. Does that make sense? Like you dive the soldier, that damage is not being done. If you dive the Ana, those heals are not being, those heals are not happening. And if you get a pick, sweet.
I shouldn't have taken the health back there.
It happens. That kind of stuff is just whatever. It's only in times when you're like half HP and they're all dead and you want to grab a health back. This is a good. That's a good bubble. Don't worry about Tracer, unless your whole team dives, and then sure, whatever. You're purple and you be very careful.
Wait, what?
Alright, yeah, it's okay.
She killed me by a missed pulse spot.
Alright. Failed dive.
Like we're Winston.
Yeah.
He's far back.
Doesn't matter.
So we have ult, which means we can be very aggressive with our jump and then use ult if we need to. Especially in this map, you can knock people all over the place.
Right.
We need to locate Ana and soldier, dive them aggressively.
Are you close?
He's by himself. I would, yeah. When I see this is chopped liver. This is easy stuff for me to jump, because you jump this and you bubble, especially when they have an Ana. Ana can't heal soldier now. You kill the soldier. He's by himself, especially with the speed boost. Like this is the right idea. It's just way too slow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like punish people who are out of position. We juke. Okay, so I know we're purpled, but like we have a little bit more. Like look at our health when we ult here.
Yeah, I see. I was thinking of the knock, of like putting him in the
Yep.
pit, and then I screwed that up. So I wanted.
Man. That's still a big pick. That's a nano wasted, and nano is more valuable than primal rage in most instances. I would not be worrying. Don't. Yeah. So stop again. Listen to this call right here. This is important. This is an alert to you. Listen.
Ana 1.
Ana 1.
Yeah.
Go get her.
I
Like that's your job.
Turn around and jump.
Right. Like yeah, that's cool that you put the bubble, because you're taking damage and there's somebody else on point that you could be protecting with the bubble. But like, screw, you cannot kill Tracer. Like only a very bad Tracer will die to a Winston.
On dead.
Yeah, and now they had a DC.
Okay.
This is probably what actually won us the game.
That's funny. Well, you did take the point.
Because
Oops. We're ready.
We can't
don't get
back mega our side. Tracer on the flank.
He was suicided.
Whoops. Okay, it looks like I skipped way too forward. Okay, we're good. That's cool. Countdown and everything. That's neat.
Seems like they're
They're retreating.
You can also follow your diva a lot too.
Winston's behind us.
Devo to
9. Don't.
Yeah.
Like their Winston is like, yeah, he's like thinking about it. But again, like there's a Lucio. You'll be all right. Like he'll be all right. Like if he really dives hardcore, then maybe. But again, you're gonna find more value from doing the same to their team, especially because they have an Ana and a hit scan. That being said, that was a good call. Your team followed through, and he did finish it up. So not a good personal decision, but great teamwork with your team.
He was suicided.
All right.
Tracer on the flank.
Tracer back. Tracer on back. Killer.
She's at back mega, our side.
Okay, at this point, little timer should be going off in her head, going, "Hey, team called it out. We followed it through. We couldn't quite get her. Respawn.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah, respawns are coming back in. We need to go find my team.
We can't.
Don't get
Like there's tracers.
was the call.
Yeah. Your team is realizing that they're wasting their time. Okay.
Soldier one, right side. Soldier dead.
Nice.
Forget screw tracer, dude. Like,
Jeez, left side mega.
why did we bubble that? We're fine. Like, oh no,
Yeah.
we're gonna be here forever.
Tracer on the lane.
Because here's the thing with doing tracer like that. You might be thinking, well, I'm wasting her time too, but she's cool with that because she has the option to listen to her team's calls. Somebody's low, she just to blink over to them and
then
kill
she
them.
just sits around.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, she's going to be building a lot more ult off of you than vice versa.
I'm a battery essentially.
Right. And her ult has the opportunity to like win team fights. Like if she gets a stick, then that
call out
can win
medic
fights.
info.
Your ult, not so much.
Yeah, they should have.
Your ult just stalls. I mean, in this map, it's obviously arguable, but this is a fantastic bubble. This is exactly what we need to be doing. That's a good jump.
That's behind, no recall.
Nice. I also like, we're not always
He's one.
quite good enough at it, but I like the fact that we have the instinct to punch at the end of kills, which is what we're doing. Gives that extra little burst that kills them like, a quarter of a second faster. Okay.
Actually, concerning that, I've got one question.
Yes.
Does the ping actually affect the timing that you have to do when you want to do the melee cancel when you're landing with the jump pack?
That's a good question. I've had more success with the melee cancel if I wait a quarter of a second longer. In terms of ping, I don't think so. I think as long as you land and then quarter of a second in the melee, regardless, I don't think ping will have that much of an effect on it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But that is something I would definitely go out in the training room, at the training range, practice range out and try because the ping is still in there and you can see the effect on it in that, or just get a custom game with a buddy and just test it out. Easy enough.
Yeah.
But do you have any questions?
Apart from that, actually, everything is pretty clear for now.
Okay, so one, like, be smarter with your bubble use. Look through all of your VODs where you play Winston and decide, was this bubble good use? And don't go from it, don't think about it after the fight's over. In other words, don't look after the fight happened and the bubble's gone and go, was that a good bubble? Don't do that, because sometimes you'll use the bubble thinking that it'll be a good play and you just get unlucky and the bubble doesn't really do its job, which happens. But you should be thinking, hey, I pressed E there. In the moment, was that a good decision, right? And then the second thing is, I'll be thinking about where you're diving. Too many times we're diving into like tanks and diving into tracers when like the skinny people. We want to kill the tall. We want to kill the soldiers. We want to kill the Anas. We want to kill the Zenyatas, or we want to create space for a team, or we want to prevent them from doing their job. Also, like really consider your ult usage. And last thing, and this is not for you, but this is for your team. Your team needs a shot caller. The comms were, they're okay for like plat, but you guys are what, diamond? If you're serious about scrims, you guys need a shot caller. The shot calling was all over the place, and really disjointed. So, anyway,
that is the number one thing that we discuss pretty much every single scrim.
Yep. And you don't even need to be making the right call. You just need to be making a call.
Yeah.
Because there was not only time wasted, you guys were on different wavelengths. I mean, you guys are calling tracer backline, and you and only the diva are going back there. Like, that's got to be fixed if you guys are going to be winning more scrims. But other than that, dude, like you obviously have the mentality of a tank to play, and I'll be excited to check out your Rhine VOD, even if it is against a bunch